Carlton's Travel Adventures. Go get your passport. Man, I just interviewed an ex-NBA player about his travels around the world and what he thinks about Colombia. So incredible stuff, shocking stuff. You gotta listen to this, man. You gotta listen to the entire, probably a 2-part series. Check this out. This is Carlton with Carlton's Travel Adventures here in Cartagena. You guys know me. I used to be in Medellin quite a few years, but now I'm moved to beautiful Cartagena. I'll show you a view of this in a second. The reason I moved there, as you know, is for that beautiful ocean, man. Ocean in Medellin, no water in Medellin. So I've been here about 6 months now. It's going pretty nicely. I like it. I'm not sure I'm going to move back to Medellin, but they asked me when you're coming back. When you're coming back, I might not come back. But I do visit pretty often. All my friends are still there, But today we've got a special guest, all right, on Carlton's Travel Adventures. My buddy here, Gary, we met a few months ago. He's from the ATL, nice guy, and he's been all over the world, man. Avid traveler, traveled a lot more than me. So I wanted to have him on the show today and talk a little about the experience traveling around the world and also how he likes Cartagena. Introduce yourself, Gary.
Hey, so first thing I want to thank Carlton for having me on his channel. So hello everybody, my name is Gary. As Carlton expressed, I can say that I have traveled many and numerous and various places throughout the world. I started traveling when I was 21 years of age. I'm 53 now. So if you do the calculations, that's 30 plus years. The first thing I like to tell people, I'm really from the hood, but as I sit here today, I can speak 3 languages fluently. That's English, French, and Spanish. And if you really test me, I can get into some Hebrew. So I've been traveling throughout the world. It's in a funny kind of way. I enjoy it. It's really been my passion.
So is it the first time in Cartagena?
No, actually, no. I visited Cartagena probably about 4 years ago. Like normal, I just grab a flight. I find a destination. I grab a flight and I go there and I try to experience the people. I was fascinated with Colombia. I learned of Colombia as I played collegiate basketball about a guy that came to visit us when I was 17 years ago. His name was Pedro Espinosa. He was from Colombia and he came to visit us, and he had this beautiful exotic Colombian lady with him. And even at 17 I realized, I say, I see him and I like her. I like to go over there and have an experience with that.
Hey, that's cool. Obviously I love Colombia. I've been here about 5 years now. It's been going pretty well. So this visit now, you're here for a short time, and is a specific reason you're just gonna visit somebody or just vacations stop?
Well, it's multifaceted in nature. I'm here, one, for vacation, but I'm also looking for a place to reside abroad. So this is probably my 3rd or 4th time here. I like Cartagena. It's not Sosua, it's not Medellin, it's not Santo Domingo. It has its own distinct flavor about it. So I'm looking at Cartagena again. I'm looking for a place to reside abroad.
Okay. I see you travel all over the world, which is pretty cool. I wish I could do that, more myself. Was there a reason you traveled so many countries? Give me some background about why you travel so many countries.
So when I started at 21, I was a collegiate basketball player. So I was I'm not tooting my horn. I'm just giving facts. I was All-American. I was All-American player. I initially started playing in Israel. I played abroad in a city. The name is Haifa, Israel. So after I played in Haifa, I went to play basketball with numerous NBA teams. I was a walk-on player. So that's a very difficult task to walk on an NBA team. So I actually walked on an NBA team and I made it. I made it several times, and I played several years in the NBA. Subsequently, I returned abroad to play for some of the top top European teams, whether that was in Italy, France, Spain, Turkey, Russia, Poland, and I ended up playing and living abroad about 14 years. I always like to tell people I not only lived in those countries. When you play sports in Europe, particularly basketball, there's a round robin tournament between countries. So if I played in Spain, I would have to play. If I played for a top team in Spain, I would have to go play a top team in Russia. So if I was living in Spain, because I was in this round robin tournament, I would go visit all these different countries. So I did that for about 14 years. In the process, as I expressed early, and I'm going to reiterate it, I picked up the culture, the language. In fact, my first wife was a foreign lady, and that was a little different, especially when you're a Black American coming from the hood. You know, a lot of times your family don't want you dating outside of the race, but I eradicated that ignorance very quick. So that's a little bit about how I got into traveling. After that, you know, I continued to travel. I went to Brazil. I noticed, and this is, we're talking 20 years ago. I knew 20 years ago that I was going to stop talking to the ladies in America because of my experience abroad. And that's not to say that there was something wrong with them, because my first wife passed away. I ended up marrying a great woman from America. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I always knew that comprehensively, overall, the ladies abroad, they fit what I wanted. That doesn't mean that the ladies in America, there's something wrong with them. I just prefer the ladies abroad, and that continues to be my passion. I like to come abroad. I meet the beautiful ladies abroad. They fit me, and they fit who I am better.
Oh, interesting background. That's why you've been all over the world, man. That's neat.
Sure.
That's neat. Man,
sure.
I wish when I left college, I really wanted to go travel abroad all over Europe, but it didn't really happen. We weren't wealthy or anything, so we had to go back to work. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some of these other kids I knew from a more wealthier background went to backpack haul to Europe.
Sure.
I always wanted to do that. I never got a chance to do it. So now I'm trying to do more trips towards Europe. I was in Spain 2 months ago, and I plan to go more Europe when spring comes. Too cold right now.
Never too late. Amen.
Yeah.
It's never too late to do the things that you want to do. As I always tell people, you can have anything in the world. You just can't have everything in the world. So you got to be selective, and you got to choose, and you have to prioritize and value those things that you want to do. And this just happened to be the thing that I value.
Right. Okay. All right, cool. Interesting topic that caught my interest, right? About American women, foreign women. A lot of guys I know that come here, they come here for the Colombian woman, and they go to DR. Now, it's a topic I hate to discuss too much because it's been discussed, a lot online. But I want to get your perspective. So you've been all over the world, right? Tell me more about, the difference between American women and the foreign women that catch your interest so much.
So it's a great question. So first, I want to say this. You have to think about the differences in the culture. And the cultures, not so much the women. I don't want to categorize the women in a funny kind of way. There's a different in a culture. They're different in cultures. When you think about our society, and I mean the American society where we live, we live in this contemporary modern world where we have everything. Everything, if you're willing to work for it, is at your fingertips in America. So in a funny kind of way, Americans, even myself, before I had traveled, I was not appreciative for that clean water that I have in the kitchen, for running water in my home, the job opportunities that I could have in our country. The fact that I could get an education. If you get injured right now in America, you can go over to the hospital and they will take care of you. If you do that in other countries, they will charge you. I had a situation in the Dominican Republic. They will charge you for every pill that you get at that hospital, and they don't care if life or death is dependent on it, they're going to charge you for that pill. We don't live in that kind of society. I only express and reiterate this to say that we live in a society where people, and I want to be clear about this, particularly, and I'm non-men, and I want to say the ladies are kind of, they're entitled. There's an entitlement is the proper word. There's an entitlement. There's an entitlement there, and I think there's more of an entitlement there for the ladies that are in America, and it's not really their fault. It's just the country that they live in. So getting to Carlton's question, I wanted to set that up. Not only do I believe the ladies are entitled in America, I think the whole American society is entitled. The whole American society is entitled. I lived in Israel once, and I used to date a lady in Israel. When I used to go get her, I used to have to go through a bombed village. I had to go through a bombed village and call her name out. She would run out of the house. If you notice in America, nobody's going to look around the White House. We're not concerned about missiles that are over our heads. So again, I re-express and reiterate, the society that we lived in is an entitled society. It's a society that we've lost the humility. We lost the humility, and I think when I come abroad, when I see some women, not all women abroad, let's be clear about that. Ladies that are in developed countries, when you start talking about Spain and France, in Italy and some of these countries, and also in some of these metropolitan areas, you get in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, you get in some of these, I wouldn't say rich, but more upscale areas. These people have taken along the same sentiments as we have in America. I think the closer you are, I wouldn't say poverty, but the closer you are to poverty, the more real and the more gratitude you have about life. So that's one reason I come down here. There's nobody starving in America if they don't want to. So I find people, particularly women, in these foreign countries, I see them more like me because I'm from the hood and I'm a travel person. They have more humility, and that's what I'm looking for, a person with humility. So that's the reason I come down here, and that's the difference. That's the major difference I see.
Okay, interesting topic, man. I'm curious about the reaction of some of these my subscribers. I obviously like the culture here in Colombia. I've been to DR, like I said, for like 5 years straight, pretty often. I mean, sometimes twice a month. I like the culture in DR. I've been away from the States for 5 years, and I've been back maybe twice for a week each time. I just feel more relaxed here, right?
Right.
I feel more relaxed here. I have no stress. In the States, it's more stressful. Everything's stressful to me in the States. So, so I'm not the only one that feels this way. So that's where I like it here. I'm not going to knock the American women. They're. I'm trying to not get into too much conversation about them right now.
You can talk with me. You ask the question. My buddies have over the years called me G Real. You ask the question,
right.
I give you the real clear cut answer about it. That's good. I try to have some diplomacy because I'm still a worker in America, and I understand my disposition there. But I'm not going to dodge the camera.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm not going to dodge the mic on him.
Right. No, I hear you. I totally hear you, man. And there's a lot of things I don't like about him either. And I think it's just maybe what you're saying is right, that they're just entitled, and
well, there's other things as well.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right. The entitlement is one thing, but there are many things that I don't like. I mean, I could get into the physical. Yeah. I mean, the clear physical aspects of the American woman. Are we live right now?
Yeah, we're live.
Cool.
So you're being recorded. They're listening to you.
It's all good. It's all good. I mean, if we just start talking physically, so let's talk about this is going to be a crazy conversation. Let's talk about the slave ship, because I know a lot of sisters don't like my conversation, but let's talk about the slave ship. When we think about South America and the Caribbean, yes, they have cars here. Yes, they have electricity here. Yes, they have air conditioning here. And yes, they have black people just like me here. Those black people are no different than the black people in America. The only difference is where they were dropped off on a slave ship. Some was dropped off in the Caribbean, some was dropped off here in South America. And they may have migrated to different areas depending on what was being cultivated. So when we think about that, we're all people, and no one can get by this. We're all people from Africa. You can see strictly by the color of our skin, the texture of our hair. But let's talk about what has made us different. Obviously, the English colonized our, I guess, America. I guess they controlled America, and the Spaniards controlled certain parts of the Caribbean and South America, and also the Dutch. If you start getting into Brazil, but again, we're all from Africa. When you see people of color can't get by it, again, the thing that you want to remember is the question of where we was dropped off on a slave ship. So here's what made us different. Here's what made us different. The American society is a society, as Carlton expressed earlier, it's a society that keeps you working. To earn money in America, you have to work, you need to be educated, and we work a lot of hours. We're the hardest working economy out on society, excluding Japan. So what has happened? We don't have time to take care of our health, which is what is priority. We should be taking care of our health. More than anything, we should be exercising, eating the right foods, not only taking care of our physical health, but our mental health. Now, how does that relate to women and men? And men. This is not just about women, but we can apply all of this, or we can apply all these things that I'm talking about to men and women. If you look around the American society, and if you specifically look into the black community, it's obese. This is an issue.
Definitely.
It's
Definitely
CDC, Center for Disease Control. This is not Gary. I don't compile any statistics. The Center for Disease Control says that 4 out of 5, and I don't know the stats on men because I'm not concerned with men, but I do know the stats on women. 4 out of 5 black women are obese.
That's true.
People talk about all the beautiful women that's in Atlanta. It's a lie. It's a lie, man. You go over to Lenox Mall, you walk around in Atlanta, what you see more than anything is obesity. And what's interesting about it is that they don't care. They'll wear anything. And people who live in Atlanta, if they don't believe me, I challenge anybody that's out there to go into the city of Atlanta, go into Marietta, go into Cobb County, go into Buckhead, go into downtown on any night, and you take a lady that's 30 years of age, 27 years of age, and she's obese. Now, let's compare that, because we talked about the working society of what America is. That makes you go get more fast food, more food, more Coca-Colas. It's an addictive society. All of those foods from Coca-Cola, sugarish, grease. Grease. There's an addiction is involved with that. And it has a toll on your body. And because we are, as Kanye West talked about, she's addicted to retail. I don't even want to get into the cognitive, the mental brainwashing that is going in to the Louis Vuitton and the Gucci and the Mercedes Benz. I have a specific word that starts with an N that I'm not going to say on this channel. That these types of people, this is their whole life. They want that Louis Vuitton. They want that
Coach.
They want that Coach. They want that Fendi. They want all of these things that they see on television. The truth about that Nike shoe is that they made that Nike shoe that you pay $400 for. It cost them pennies on the dollars, 80 cents in some sweatshop in Asia. But they advertise it by subliminal messages in your mind and everything that you do. And one thing poor people do is that they buy these things as status symbols, and they go and buy this stuff. I tell you how ignorant the American, and I'm not just the women. I mean, I could go for days. The men too. A man works 40 or 60 hours a week, probably making minimum wage. He gets his money, he goes over to the strip club, and he throws it up in the air. Do you know the stupidity and ignorance that is? You work 60 hours, man, to get your money, and you take it over to the strip club and throw it up in the air. Do you know what it is? I see them doing it down in Sosua. They ruin Sosua like that. And I know Carlton's going to ask me about these things. You throw your money up in the air. When I love my black people, we have some great people in our community. I love them, but we got some ignorant people too, man. And I can't stand them. And that's another reason I'm leaving. I don't want anything to do with that. But hey, don't let me dominate this conversation.
No, that's cool. I want to hear it. It's gonna be a long, probably 2-part video. I want to hear what you have to say.
So there's so many different reasons that I'm leaving America. But I think the original question was about the women. When you think about the women here in Colombia,
well, give me a second. Get ready for part 2. More shocking interview to come. Well, not shocking. Real. For real.